It has been 6 months since we switched to the Duke Energy Flex Savings option, which is a time of use power rate deal that they have. And we did it mainly because we thought we would save money with charging our cars in the dead of night versus just paying a flat rate for everything. So the rates are around here are 11.9 cents per kilowatt hour at all times of the day. You can stay on that rate. That's what everybody gets when they first sign up, and charge whenever you want, as much as you want. You pay the same rate. There's a $14 connection charge that they charge you just to put the meter in, and then 11.9 cents per kilowatt hour for every kilowatt hour. There's no discount. There's no nothing. They do have an energy saver plan that you can go on. If your house is Energy Saver certified, I guess you have to have certain insulation and stuff. But for that plan, it is, I think, 10 cents per kilowatt hour up to the first 800 kilowatt hour, and then it drops to 9 cents per kilowatt hour, everything above that, for the month. But we went on the Flex Savings plan, which offers 3 different tiers of power rates. You have your normal price, which is 9.9 cents per kilowatt hour. That's just all hours of the day, basically. Then at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. currently for the summer, you go into peak rates, which are 20.9 cents per kilowatt hour. There is a critical peak of 43.9 cents per kilowatt hour. And then you have your discount, which is 6.9 cents per kilowatt hour, which is between 1 and 6 a.m. Best time to charge your car. So let's break down how that works. Typically, every single day, every weekday, you will see peak, which is the 20.9 cents per kilowatt hour. That happens from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Unless you're in winter rates, then in the winter it goes from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. So it's the same time, just different points of the day, basically. But in sometimes they will deem that the grid will be under extra load. And so they'll give you about a 24-hour notice saying, hey, tomorrow is going to be a critical peak day. And it's going to be 43.9 cents per kilowatt hour for every kilowatt hour you use. So, well, between 6 and 9 p.m., of course. So you got to really try to not use power. But that's kind of where they get you on this, because you'll find that they're only jacking the rates up on days where it's going to be like 100 outside. So unless you just want to be in an oven in your house, you kind of have to pay it to run the air. There's no other way around it. And that's kind of what we've been seeing. So our first 3 months, February, March, and April, were actually really good. Those were on winter rates, and just don't use power between 6 and 9 a.m. Not a big deal for us because we're not even awake at that time. Enjoy the discounted charging. We actually get 2 sections of discounted charging in the winter. You get 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. and then again at I think 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. or something like that. I'll have to look it up. We're not in that rate, so I don't remember right now. Plenty of time to get my cars charged up and never had an issue. We enjoyed the lower rates throughout the day. It was good. No problems at all. At the end of April, they moved us to summer rates. And summer is, 6 and 9 p.m. for the more expensive. And then you get cheaper rates 1 to 6 a.m. 9.9 cents per kilowatt hour at all other times. And I thought, this isn't going to be so bad. I adjusted my batteries. We have huge batteries. I think we've got 15 kilowatt hour worth of batteries that run our house. Everything except for the air conditioning, because it's just not powerful enough to run the air conditioning, but everything else runs off of those batteries. All the computers, TVs, refrigerators, you name it, it's running off of those batteries. So I thought, not a huge deal. We'll program the batteries for the new time, and we should be able to do this, no problem. That worked really good for about a month, and then it started getting hot. And in June, Duke Energy started hitting us with critical peak days. Every day the temperature would be above 90 degrees. They would hit us with a critical peak day. And we've had like 7 critical peak days so far this year. We didn't have a single one during our winter rates, but in the summer, they're hitting us constantly with it. Any day it's over 90, we're getting hit with a critical peak day. And coincidentally, I mean, our air conditioner usually can only keep our house about 10 degrees cooler than whatever it is outside. We had this problem when we first moved in, and we complained because like something's not right. They ended up replacing the air conditioner unit entirely with a brand new one, but they put the same size unit in the house, which again, I don't think it's big enough to handle the demand that we need. You know, at 10 degrees sometimes doesn't work. So when it's 90 outside, we are having trouble maintaining 80. And that's hot. That's really hot. And until the sun goes down, it doesn't stop. It's on all day continually. And we thought, you know, well, maybe we could deal with 80 for a little while. I mean, at the end of the day, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, it's starting to get dark. The sun's not at its hottest point. So if we can get it to just 76, that's kind of the goal. About 6 p.m., if we can get it to 76, we'll let it turn off and just maintain 80 until 9, and then it can come back on and get us back down to 70. It was just too hot. There was just no way. With it not running, the air becomes hot and stale. At least with it running, the air's hot, but it's circulating. There was just no way we could do it. So we bumped it down, I think, to 76. We're trying to maintain 76. And that's been bearable. It's not great, but it's been bearable. And there have been days that I have honestly considered just switching back to the 11.9 cent per kilowatt hour and calling it a day, because, you know, the savings are great. Our power bill went down somewhere between 100 and 150 a month, depending on the month, depending on the usage, depending on a lot of different things. But $100 to $150 a month savings is great. But at what cost? You know, are we going to sit here in the oven house, or are we going to, you know, figure out an alternative? And the only alternative that I had that might have worked in this scenario was to set up my power share for my Cybertruck. And I still today, I bought the truck in October. It is now toward the end of August. Still today do not have that power share installed. Qmerit has completely dropped me on that. They are not going to help me get it installed. They say they are unable to find an installer in my area, so they can't help. The only installer I found in my area will not respond. They initially responded and said, yes, we'll do it. Then they said, you're with Qmerit, we can't help you. And I'm just like, no, Qmerit dropped me. You can help me. Like, they are no longer helping at this point. I can give you proof of that. And I've gone 3 separate communications after that just went unanswered. So I think the company is it's just their way of saying we don't want to deal with it. Which usually when you deal with an electrician that doesn't want to deal with something, they're going to give you the price of the go away price. And you either pay it or go away. And they're hoping you'll do the latter. So, no power share. I listed it for sale because I thought I'll just get rid of it. Offers I've gotten in the 500 range. I paid $2,500 for it. I don't think so. I will not be selling it for $500. So yeah, that's that. That was the only alternative I had that might work, where I could manually turn off the power and still run the air off of the truck and not have to pay huge amounts to do that. But at this point, that would just be a hassle, really. It's not automatic. It would have to be done manually, and it would just be a huge mess. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. That's what we're dealing with. It has, like I say, it's crossed my mind to just go back to the regular power rate. We are still technically saving money. We used a lot of kilowatt hours last month, not only charging vehicles, but everything else that runs, and we were still about $100 cheaper than it would have normally been. This month is going to hit us a little harder because we, like I say, we couldn't handle 80. We had to lower the temperature a little and be comfortable. And that's going to make our bill go up, especially during those expensive hours of the day. But I've asked the power company if there's anything else they can do. I tried to switch to the Energy Saver plan, but you have to be Energy Saver certified. I don't even know or Energy Star certified. I don't even know who does that. Who certifies you? How do you prove you're certified? I mean, it seems like a big waste to me. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, that's pretty cool. If you were seeing the signs and you're like that one, and then it dims to block out him, and then that is pretty cool. But yeah, that's an update on the time of use. We're still using it. We're still trying it. We'll see. I don't know. It's we'll see. But for now, we're on it. We're still charging our cars. I'm using a lot of power charging my cars. That's just the way I do it. And yeah, more updates to come, I'm sure.